These are some basic tips to work the heavy bag, to keep it safe and to keep yourself healthy. So number one, when you're striking from straight on your jabs and crosses, you want to think that you want to get about a 2 to 4 inch depth as you go into the bag, depending on your size and strength. So as I'm punching, I want to get about, I don't want to be throwing a punch where I'm ending up short. I don't want to punch where I'm pushing all the way through it, for the risk of injuring my elbow. So as you make impacts, it's like you have a little divot, about 2 to 4 inches, again, a lot depending on the size and strength of the person hitting the bag. So again, about a 2 to 4 inch depth divot in the bag. Throwing hooks, it's real important. You work more than half the bag. Too many times when people throw hooks, they'll extend too far and they're hitting the far end of the bag. This can risk elbow injury, as the elbow is much weaker as it hits out here. And when you're hitting the bag, you want to think that you're hitting the body parts. You want to visualize the body parts you're hitting. So on the hooks would be the jawline, the chin, temple, or on the body would be the liver, spleen, the front part, bottom floating rib. Sometimes you're going kidney shots, but you're more in tight with those particular targets. So with that, so if this is their head, it's only right here. This is about the temple right here. This would be the chin right up front. Same way down here on the body. Working the body, again, organ or bottom ribs. It's when you work on the bag, you want to work the bag, at least initially, till it's where the person is your height. So if I'm hitting the head, I'm hitting to my head level. If I'm hitting the body, I'm hitting to my body level. And make sure you work the body and head, work all targets. So when you're throwing these hooks, you're hitting the front half of the bag. Same with the body. Front half of the bag. And you're looking to get that quick retraction off the bag. You don't want to get too much into push punching. As you push, then the bag starts to fly all over the place, and then you're kind of chasing it the whole time. So you're more getting that quick retraction, heavy punch, but retracting it back. When throwing the hook, it's taught two different ways. You have a horizontal punch the bag, or you have your vertical punch. I prefer the vertical. I think it's safer. I think you can generate more power too. So work on, this is a vertical fist. Work on the vertical fist on the heavy bag, as opposed to a horizontal punch. Again, everybody has their personal preference. In my opinion, this is just a little bit safer to have a vertical fist. So here's your hook. And you're peppering this bag, you're hitting through the bag, trying to get that 2 to 4 inch divot. It can even be a 1 to 2 inch divot, again, depending on size and strength of the person in the bag. And down, make sure you work head and body. Body, head. Again, at your own head level, your own body level, as you're first starting on the bag. Make sure you focus on keeping your hands up. The big problem is people start hitting the bag, they get all excited, and one thing, the bag will never hit back. It's a common thing you'll hear. So people get a little more lax, and they'll just start dropping their hands and wailing on the bag, and it gets really out of control. But when you hit the bag like you would when you're sparring or hitting mitts or whichever, in competition, you want your hands up at all times if possible. So when I'm throwing punches, my hooks, opposite hands up. Throw my cross, opposite hand, jab, opposite hand. Throwing an uppercut. You can dig into the bag with the uppercut. Sometimes I'll even just scrape the bag. And so you can scrape it with the outside of your glove, or you can put it, bury it. It's almost like an extended uppercut, so it goes in at about a 45-degree angle. So it'll be right here. Those tight uppercuts you can kind of just scrape at times. But either way, opposite hand comes back to your head whenever you punch. And so for protection. Breathing. Strong, good, hard exhales. Okay? You don't have to breathe on every punch, especially if you start to punch with more speed and frequency. But you want to breathe. Obviously the breathing is for stamina and for your power. And you breathe hard through your teeth. Hard exhale. Okay? Not breathing with your mouth wide open. You're not blowing or puffing. It's a hard exhale. It's no different than when you're lifting weights or lifting something heavy. You moan, you groan, you exhale hard. It's the same thing here. Your breathing and hard exhale is for your stamina and it's for the power on the punch. And also you want to keep your teeth clinched together. Mouthpiece will help that. If no mouthpiece, still clinch together. So you got a good stable jawline. Okay? Everybody gets hit in the sport. Certainly hitting the bag, you're not going to get hit back. But you want to practice keeping those teeth clinched together So you got a good solid jawline when you do get hit in that area. So exhaling. Okay, you can even moan or groan or yell if you really want to exert a lot of energy and power into the bag. So keeping those hands up, breathing, exhaling, getting that 1, 2 to 4 inch divot. It all depends on the power and the size of the person. Working a vertical punch, vertical hand configuration on your hook or outside punches, and working that half of the bag. Don't extend your arm too far out where you make your elbow weaker and vulnerable as it's hitting this hard bag. Another common mistake for beginners is, and again, there's different ways you can draw in the bag, but for the most part you want to work footwork with this and get in and out. It's almost like a sparring match with a heavy bag. So as you're punching, finish that combination, you kind of step out, and then you go right back in. And step out. Move a little bit, and get out. Okay. So you're in and out with your bag work. If you're just working in close range, in tight range, drills, then you're going to have less movement in and out. There you're going to be more pivoting left and right. But work that footwork as you're on the bag. So this bag's not just good for hitting it, but it's good for kind of visualizing an opponent. So you're in, you're out, you're moving left to right, working different combinations, working inside, working out to in, and then back out, or you have certain drills you can set up with. So the key points are hands up, breathing, hard exhales, safety on your joints, drive through the bag, right? Elbows tight, vertical fist on your hooks. And when you punch, keep those knees slightly back. We call it staying grounded. Gives you a little bit more leverage, stability, balance. So when you're hitting this heavy bag, it'll be a lot more easier on your joints, your shoulders, your elbows, and get more power. One thing, as the bag starts to swing, you're hitting pretty heavy, the bag's swinging a little bit. As it swings, sometimes you'll see people go like this, and they'll start to hug it or hold it or stop it. All that's doing is cutting into your workout. And there's certain techniques that apply for sport too that you can use as this bag is flying all over the place. So what not to do, as the bag's moving and you punch it, and it swings back in you, you're not stopping it, right? Grabbing onto it, trying to hold it real quick so it settles down, and then you go back at it. You can use a couple things. You can use your jab cross, another punch, okay? Or you can use a hand check. So as the bag swings, as it comes in, I just punch it. Work my jab. I like to work a jab off of it because I'm not putting as much power into my jab. Sometimes if the bag's swinging pretty heavy and you throw your heavy cross into it, you're going this heavy bag coming back into your power cross. Sometimes your elbow and shoulder joint can be vulnerable on that particular motion. So just be aware if the bag's swinging a lot, you want to be careful on those power crosses because when they're meeting together, it could jam up your shoulder or elbow. So what I like to do as the bag swings, I just work jab. Okay, so it's not as powerful. I'm just kind of peppering that bag, and it brings it to a stop. If not the first jab, maybe a couple jabs after that. Second option, as the bag's swinging, I just hand check it. I can just hand check it. This hand check is though you're hand checking somebody's glove, just kind of putting a hand in their face. Okay? Checking their hand, the glove, putting the hand in the face. Same thing you can do on his bag. It's swinging, hand check. It's like a stiff arm. Arm locks out, the other hand's up covering. And generally you're going to do it with your lead hand, or you can do it with your rear hand as well. Comes in, just doing it with my rear hand. So the opposite. Lead hand comes up, rear hand extends out. But more times than not, you're going to probably want to work it with your lead hand. Keep your chin buried in your shoulder. Arm extended out, it's like a stiff arm, a football stiff arm. So it's really strong. In your neck, your head, your body's all working with your arm. Again, it's a stiff arm. Okay? Or a hand check. Or just a check. So you're in the bag, start to swing, put a jab in, stop it, or hand check. Bend those knees and hand check. So keep those hands up, exhale on your punches. If you're putting punches in bunches and a lot of speed, you're not going to exhale on every punch. But you want to exhale on most of them. And keep that stamina, and it's good for power. Work half the bag as you're punching it. Safety on your hand and your elbow. Use a vertical fist. straight punches, bury that 1 to 2 inches to 4 inches, depending on your size and strength, into the bag. A nice good divot. Work in and out. So hit the bag, get out, move. Hit the bag, get out, move. Get in, hit the bag, get out, move. Unless you're working in close range combinations and strategy. Keep those knees slightly bent for a good base and good leverage. And have fun with the bag. Again, there's multiple ways you can work the bag, but these safety tips and ideas will help make all those different options fun and safe.